And we are back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for tuning in every day, not just today. Y'all come through and y'all love it. Bryan Broaddus here, BRY.
Bunch of sickos.
That's exactly what they are. But you need to stay at them comments though, Bryan Broaddus. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know, man. That's all good. I love you guys. Good to be with you, sir. Good to be with you, man.
Appreciate you. This is the last week of preseason, pre-game preseason. Yeah. Then we got like a week off. Then we got football going. So this is a very important time for bottom of the roster characters, Bryan Broaddus, but also just roster building in general. Let me ask you a tough question, boy. Just off the bat. Let me ask you a tough question.
Voch wants to know. Bryan Broaddus. Voch wants to know.
I talk just like that. This ain't even a question. This is really a train of thought that I had to try to make everything work.
Gotcha.
Royce Freeman, Deuce Vaughn. I really want them to be. I really want them to be a part of my running back crew.
Right.
We're only carrying 4 running backs.
Yeah.
Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
What if Hunter Lipke was your 4th tight end?
Okay.
And that gave you some roster room.
Yeah.
To carry 4 running backs, 4 true running backs. Because, and I thought about this, I was thinking about Sean McEwen. Sean McEwen played tight end, but he plays wing and he plays offset, and then he plays fullback sometimes, right? Like when he was here. And Mike McCarthy always talk about his tight ends being able to play all 4 spots. And you know, the average fan may not know what the hell four tight end spots are, right? You know what I mean? Tight end inline, tight end with the receivers, tight end fullback and wing. Hunter Lipke been playing all that, Bryan Broaddus. So just curiosity. Is that a way that the Cowboys can keep 4 running backs by Hunter Lipke being your 4th tight end?
Like what you're doing there. Let me ask you a question then. Okay, here we go. Would you rather have the running backs you mentioned, a 6th wide receiver, a 6th corner, or a 6th or maybe more linebacker? What position are you absolutely you just want to keep, you want to add this, you want to have that extra running back, don't you? Is that the most, give me in order the most important thing. If you're going to go long, I think you're identifying that Voch Lombardi wants to go long at running back.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't have.
Am I right though? Am I right?
You're right, but I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I need more running backs. Because I don't have faith in the running backs that are there.
There you go.
If Rico Dowdle wasn't hurt guy, if Zeke wasn't old guy, and look, they doing a good job of hiding him from us, ain't they? If he wasn't hurt guy, you know, if we had a stud at running back, we can carry 3.
Yeah,
we can carry 3.
I understand. Yeah.
But we don't have a stud at running back, so I got questions about the guys that we have. Now, running back may be the easiest unit to go find some help to come in and play some running back for you. But just the guys that we have there, I'm up here fighting with my audience. I did a live stream earlier. I'm fighting with my audience about Zeke because they up here banking on veteran leadership and tenure and rollover respect. I'm like, man, rollover respect ain't gonna win you no games, Bryan Broaddus. So I'm having in my mind, to carry more running backs because I don't know what them first 3 are gonna do for me. So I just wrote down corners while we was talking: Diggs, Bland, Carson, Lewis, Hall, Booth. That's my 6 corners. If I had to go without one, I can do that, right?
Right.
You kind of want all your linebackers there. You feel like linebackers is like something that you would need.
Here's the new thing
tight end
for your line.
Oh, please.
No.
Okay.
The linebacker, since you bring it up.
Okay.
We had a mock game today, right? We had mock game practice.
Okay.
By me, while I was watching a little mock game before I came on with you.
Sure.
Overshone on the cords, Clark on the cords, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to have to carry an extra linebacker, a Willie Harvey, because we have hurt guys on linebacker.
Kendricks, Clark, Demo, Louisville, Harvey. What about Vigil? Has Vigil done enough
That's
for
what
you?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Nick Vigil. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And to me, I wonder if you're going to have to maybe go a little long there. It's a good room.
Yeah.
Trust me. But now we're starting to have situations where these guys are now showing up on the cords.
Yeah.
You know, and I please tell me, please, you know, early in the campaign, Kendricks was out.
Sure.
You know, Clark's now out. Overshone's been out. You know, please tell me that these guys are all going to make it through. Yeah. You know, and now I'm thinking, do I have to carry another guy or an extra guy instead of? But it's your theory, except on the defensive side of the ball.
Sure.
That you got guys. It's a great room, the linebackers, but are they all going to be healthy the whole year? That's the question now you have to ask yourself. And I totally love what you're doing with the running back situation because we don't know.
Yeah.
Geez, we don't know. I mean, we're hoping that all of a sudden that, you know, that we get that Luke Schoonmaker turns into a Billy Joe Dupree or, you know, Gene Fugit blocker for, you know, whatever for, you know, that back in the day, Cowboys type of blocker dude, even a little bit of a Jason Witten when he was young. Yeah. But the thing with, you know, Schoonmaker and Stevens, I mean, they block better in the game, but you know, you're thinking about running that football, and you're going to need point of attack guys. You're going to need that center working with those two really good guards, the tackles. That's the key right now. Maybe you can get away with having these backs if, in fact, the tight ends show a little bit more improvement that they did the other day, and that this center's no joke. This center's no joke working with those powerful guards that can help. Yeah. So I'm with you on this. I understand what you're doing, and I'm thinking that Hunter Lipke, if you put him as your, I think Hunter Lipke affects two positions, the running back room and the tight end room. I totally agree with you on that.
Bryan, as a personnel guy, how do you handle that? Right, like you have a Micah Parsons, right? Do you add linebackers as if he's not a linebacker? Do you add edge dudes as if he's not an edge dude? Like, you know, Micah and Lipke, they're not the same dude, I promise. But they're dudes that navigate in these different rooms, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you're right.
So when you're building a team, do you almost have to pretend like those guys don't exist just to, hey man, you know, we need to find tight end, and if we need Lipke to play tight end, he can, but we're looking for tight end without him. You know, I just listed linebackers. I didn't list Micah as one of them. Micah's an edge guy, you know.
Right.
But he can play linebacker if we need him to. How do you navigate with you know, guys like that? Even like in your time, back in your old day, Merriman, right? Merriman's a pass rusher linebacker dude. How do you navigate his pass rusher linebacker stuff?
That's tricky. It really is. I mean, if you look at how they present, you know, how they present their depth chart, I know on the card that we get, this thing right here, that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We get this card every day, and they've got the number one linebacker they got is Micah Parsons. Okay. So, you know, the PR department has him as a linebacker. We all kind of feel like he's an edge.
Sure.
I feel like that this coach is going to use him more as a linebacker. Yeah. You know, so I'm thinking, how a rare player like that, he's not keeping me from adding somebody at edge. Sure. He's not. It's not. Now the thing that I got to figure out now is because the addition of Phillips, he's playing like some 3. He's not playing the 1. Yeah. So maybe they still need, you know, between Rodgers, Mozzie, maybe they're still looking for a 1. So now. Okay, God, it's tough because, again, I'm not answering your question very well. Please. Because I just always just assume, like, if Parsons was a linebacker or whoever you want, I was just going to keep adding players. Because the one thing I learned in Green Bay from Ron Wolf, the general manager, the Hall of Fame general manager, was if you feel good at a position, just keep adding. Yeah. Just keep adding guys. Sure. Because eventually it's just going to make the position better. So whether Micah plays edge or linebacker, I'm just going to keep adding guys regardless of how I feel. You know, I mean, I don't want to sit there and like, oh, we'll just add a bunch of guys and it kills another position.
Yeah.
But if I can find if there's somebody on that waiver wire that I really like, I ain't opposed to getting rid of guys to get another guy. You know, and I don't care. Or if I have to make a trade, I don't care. Because I'm always going to try, even though I've got a star players at certain positions.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep adding. I'm not going to worry about it because in the long run, I'm going to need every one of those son of a guns. Is what it's going to come down to.
Let me tell you something about Micah playing linebacker. Me and my audience, we're watching film together on it's just one of these little things I do. Patreon.com. We watch film. We watch film with it. Let me tell you probably why they feel really good about Micah playing a whole bunch of linebacker.
Yeah.
Because that Marshawn Nealon kid, he sets the piss out that edge, Brian. Yeah. Oh, buddy. He punches people in the chest and stands people up. And, of course, when it's an obvious passing down, Nealon can go play B-gap somewhere and go and let Micah play edge or something like that. Yeah. But just in the rundown stuff, oh goodness, Brian! I was so impressed with the Nealon film. He still run down the middle of people, Brian. But sometimes he's good at it. Sometimes he's good at run down the middle of people. But just him setting the edge, playing the run. A couple of times he dropped back in coverage. That was interesting. But Marshawn Nealon. It's so crazy, Brian, how this draft class, we're going to need all these kids.
Every one of them.
All these kids have a role. Last year's class still fighting for their respect. Somehow last year's class, they're still trying to get acclimated. The whole class this year, Brian, them dudes about to play. All of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas is the only one that we did think about, the guard from
Nathan Tom.
Yeah, he's the only one. But that's neither here nor there on that. The thing that I worry about with Nealon, and let's just talk about it right now here on August 19th.
Yes, sir.
This son of a gun plays hard.
He does.
He plays hard. I worry about him in week 13, and all of a sudden it's like he hits that wall and his body is saying, okay, Western Michigan's football season's over. Yeah. I mean, he's having to play in preseason games now. He's going to play. We'll see how much he plays Saturday, but he's played a lot of preseason football and he's going to play a lot of regular season football.
Yeah.
And I just think we have to be ready as a fan base that in week 13, week 14, when we're sitting here like, man, this kid's good, man. And then all of a sudden the pressures stop, the tackles stop, the things, his body just said, no, I'm sorry. I'm not used to playing 17 games of football or, 18 games of football when you count preseason stuff. So we just have to be ready for that. But man, you're right. That is a playing Jesse right there when it comes to squeezing down, making tackles, being physical, rushing the passer, playing left side, playing right side, maybe having to play some nickel stuff, playing some defensive tackle. He is a nice little piece to have as your defense because of, he as a rookie, he gets it. He really does. He's gonna need to develop a little bit more of the pass rush stuff to kind of get that. He's learning how to get that shoulder underneath the blocker and get there.
Sure.
But he's going to have to figure out the level where to rush and then how to get there with some quickness and not get caught. Because there's going to be a lot of frustrating rushes for him where he's close again. That kind of thing. The minute he kind of busts through and figures that thing out, you're going to have a really, really good football player.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, boy. Shoo. You just put something on my mind, sir. Voch says this. If you're building a team, considering the rookie wall that we always hit.
Yeah, I'm worried about all these guys.
the groups that have rookies in them, should we go long on those groups?
Yeah.
So we're talking about O-line, we're talking about edge, we're talking about corner, because the other day we was talking about Muhammad and Wheat. We was like, hey, should both of these guys make it?
Yeah.
In an attempt to not wear Marshawn Nealon down, do you consider bringing along Muhammad and Wheat?
Yeah, I think I really do like Wheat. I do. If I had to pick one of the two, I would pick Wheat over Muhammad myself, just because of I kind of feel like there's just a little bit more there. I know that Muhammad's played some NFL games and stuff like that. Wheat, I think he's a young guy. He's got some talent to him. Man, you can't go long at every position.
Okay.
And I just my hope is that because they've got some hard playing guys. Leufau, hard playing guy. Hope he doesn't get wore down.
Yeah.
You know, this Guyton, man, I'll tell you what, he is a tough SOB when it comes to, trying to get it done. I think he'll be okay. I think he's got the mental toughness. I know BB's got the mental toughness. BB's played a million games at Kansas State. He'll fight his way through all that. Yeah. I'm worried, like I said, I do worry about Nealon just because of how hard he plays all the time. He never stops. Leufau never stops. So that is something that you got to monitor. Like Mike McCarthy's good talking about the GPS numbers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you those cats are going to be high GPS numbers for the number of plays that they're going to play. So you have to be careful. You have to be mindful of that. There might be some time where those guys maybe get a break during practice.
Sure.
Like all of a sudden, hey, Leufau ain't practicing today. If he's wore down a little bit, especially Nealon. I don't think they can afford to wear Nealon down.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need him being that right end, until they kind of figure some things out there.
Brandon, I said, bro, I'm reading this thing here. Bryan Broaddus, as far as
distracted podcaster today.
Who's that?
Distracted podcaster.
Well, Bryan, because we're doing this on the fly. I thought the Cowboys I thought they were going to do something worth talking about today, but they didn't. So me and you have to do a show on the fly. So we just kicking it. But on your Leufau point, I do have a question though. Sure. I think he had a much better game this week than
he did
last week, right?
He absolutely did. Yeah.
Do you think last week's game was more so about Sean McVay's nonsense and his move around stuff, that Shanahan tree garbage that we can't stand? And we look at the Raiders; they run a lot more like pro style stuff, right? So we were watching Leufau, and Leufau was a little early sometimes. Like, he was getting there, he was seeing it better, he was dodging blocks, and they had this one play where Leufau was like on the offense's left hash, and they threw a bubble way over there, or like a slant way over there. And Leufau ran his ass over there and went to go get. I said, "Boy, Leufau jumping off film." I don't even know what my question. Oh yeah, the Sean McVay stuff, right? Do you think that just because the Raiders' offense, I say it's easier, but just better to digest as opposed to that nonsense? That's what made Leufau better this week.
So you're saying Luke Getsy doesn't have like that Sean McVay tendencies to his offense?
Is that who's calling plays over there in Oakland? That's his name?
Luke Getsy, he was with the Bears. Guy lost his job with the Bears, and now he's with the Raiders.
Never heard of him. Oh, the Bears offense coordinator. Okay, well that makes sense then. They didn't do shit. They didn't do nothing on offense last year. That makes sense then. Okay, cool.
You know what? I think it was so funny because both Leufau and Willie Harvey they weren't very good in that game.
No, last week they were bad, yeah.
And I think a lot of it had to do with kind of first time out of the blocks. They did have the scrimmage and stuff, the work they got together, and I thought they were a little bit better than that. Mm-hmm. But man, that game was like that, you guessing and jumping blocks and being out of position. I guarantee you when they sat down and watched that tape, Mike Zimmer and those coaches probably were like, okay, don't be doing this S anymore.
Yeah.
Trust what you see, react, and then go. They had, you were talking about the tape this week, man. I thought there was a time when Leufau was really active early in this game. They have a long run. The Raiders get a long run, but I was encouraged on the long run because Rodgers was square, Leufau was filling the hole, and if they could have got Harvey over to fill, it's a 1 or 2 yard gain. He was late, and in my mind, I'm thinking, if that's Overshone or Clark or Kendricks, that's a 1 or 2 yard gain. Mm-hmm. That's where run defense all of a sudden is better. because you've got linebackers that a tackle that was square, a fill linebacker, a scrape linebacker. That scrape linebacker was a little late getting over, but it was Harvey. It wasn't one of your starter dudes or one of those guys you're kind of looking at to be the bell cow defensive players. So to me, that was encouraging that we kind of saw that from. And Liufau was, as you mentioned, how active he was running around. He saw things better in this game. Sean will mess with you a little bit, but I think it was just that first game of being really, really anxious that kind of got those guys in trouble.
Bryan, I was looking at the depth chart. I just pulled it up here. Our Lads. That's my depth chart website, Bryan.
Our Lads. There you go. Good ones. Yeah, Our Lads is good.
Love Our Lads. And I was just trying to look down some names of some bottom of the roster type guys that are possibly fighting, for their life and their livelihood right now, right? There's a fine line of the dude that still has something to earn in this third preseason game. For example, I don't think there's anything that Viliami can do that can change my mind about him. I think he'll be in Jacksonville in no time, right? But there are some players that you watch them and you feel like they've earned their way here. Like that dude's on the team, right?
Right.
What player is still kind of in the middle, Bryan? Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was, when Pass first came on, all right, let's go watch Fahoko, send me little cousin, let's go watch him to see what he does. And now I've seen what he has, and I'm just like, man, this not gonna cut it over here. That right there. So Bryan, what player on this team, if you need a second, let me know.
I got it.
What player on this team that you feel like they still got something to earn and something to show in this preseason game 3?
Jalen Cropper. Jalen Cropper to me. And I felt like that Jalen Cropper going into this game against the Raiders was leading the pack of the 4 receivers that were trying for a spot.
Yeah.
I think he brought this group closer to him now. And, they're trying to play these guys on special teams. Bones Fossil is trying to play Racy McMath. Racy McMath has a couple of catches in the game, and you're like, wow, Racy McMath, good-looking player. Wow, look at that play. Then you watch Racy McMath play flyer on the right side. Yeah. And the big punt return they have, Racy McMath gets just destroyed.
Sure.
And now they're up the sidelines, and it's a big-ass punt return.
Yeah.
Can't have that. And then you look at Cropper. Okay, we're going to put him back there as a punt returner. Okay, he's backing up, ball overhead, catches it. Now he starts to run, fumble. Okay, whoa, what's going on there? Ball behind him a couple of times. Maybe Lance didn't help him all the time, but didn't exactly have one of his better games. To me, Ryan Flournoy didn't practice all that much at all, and now all of a sudden, you're talking about the draft and keeping the draft and keeping it intact and stuff. But I think that if you had to say that Ryan Flournoy might be ahead now of Jalen Cropper, where if it came down to they can only keep 5 wide receivers. Yeah. Me personally, I think that if Cropper were to make it's fine. He's had a good camp.
Sure. But
I think it's closer now than it was before. I think this Charger game might tell the story of some guys. You mentioned on the offensive side of the ball, some of the things are guys like, I'm sorry, you mentioned the defense and you said Fahoko being gone.
Yeah.
Eric Scott. There's another one. Eric Scott to me is I kind of feel like that Eric Scott's fate has been sealed. I don't know if Hall's fate is sealed.
Right.
The corner. Booth, they traded for him. Man, he gave up a big play. They had some, 102 yards, big play. Could have gave up another big play, went off the receiver's fingers. Could have been 2 big plays. He tackled well. We've kind of talked about what do you think of Mukwamu?
Yeah.
If you look at the metrics, Mukwamu, they had 4 targets, no catches. He plays slot. He's a big, long guy. I mean, is his fate been sealed? I don't know. I think those guys are all kind of trying to, if they're battling for one spot, it's 3 guys that are battling for that one spot maybe. And, that I think there's some, sometimes these games, there's stuff that you say, well, they're just playing out the string. I think there's some guys that are playing I think there's some guys that are playing. We mentioned Huggins.
Sure.
Huggins could be playing for an opportunity. Like,
Sure.
listen, if he shows up and all of a sudden and he's wearing out, 3s and 4s for the Chargers, and you're like, well, gosh, well, do we have a backup 3? Can he be the backup 3? It sounds like they're going to play Chauncey Golston on the edge.
Yeah.
So there's some guys that I do feel like there's a couple of guys, like I say, I think Scott Fehoko, and those were guys that were in a draft. That was a Dan Quinn. Those are a couple of Dan Quinn guys right there that they're probably have played themselves. I'll say this. I'll give you another one. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of rambling on here.
Please.
Brevin Spann-Ford.
Talk to me about Brevin, Brian. And when you talk about him, talk about the amount of patience that it takes to kind of bring up.
That's what bothers me.
Okay, go please.
That's what bothers me, because I've thrown dirt on Dalton Schultz before.
Yeah.
And it took, look what it took with the Fergusons and the Hendershots and, guys like that. It's going to take time with Schoonmaker. Mm-hmm. But, they had an idea with Brevin Spann-Ford is supposed to be this badass point of attack blocker. He got whiffed the other day. He got a holding call. He's not a great pass catcher. God, I'd hate for him to end up some other team and he's a point of attack blocker. But, we're not talking about him as making this team right now. You kind of hope he gets through and you can maybe get him on the practice squad. Mm-hmm. You gave him $250,000 guaranteed. Well, I think it was the largest bonus that was given to a undrafted rookie.
Sure.
You guaranteed money for this guy.
And Brian, them paying him that much makes me think that if he was on the open market, somebody will take him from us if he was on the open market. That's what I think.
Yeah. I like I say, you can't keep all these guys.
Sure.
But there's certain players that you brought in here for certain specific reasons because they can do a job. Mm-hmm. And some of them have failed. The front office doesn't let you go.
Right.
You let yourself go.
Sure.
Because you didn't do the job.
Sure. So we're looking at 4 tight ends possibly, Brian. We're just looking at 4 tight ends.
Yeah, you're thinking the 4 tight end is could be Hunter Lipke, right?
Could be.
Or you thinking if you had to pick a 4 tight end, who's your 4th tight end?
And that's my problem. If my last name was Jones, I would just list it as Lipke as my 4th tight end so I could have some more running backs, right? But it seems like Ferguson has just smoked everybody in this race. He's long gone. He's out of here. Schoonmaker somehow is in firm second place. He's done nothing, but he's firmly in second place for some reason.
I actually, if you asked me to put him in order,
John Stevens second for you.
Mm-hmm.
He has some good blocks.
Yeah, he did. And he missed on that toss. He didn't hook that guy.
Sure.
Looked like me out there blocking one time.
Sure.
But no, the combination blocks, the backside blocks. Yeah. His athletic ability, he has gotten better as a blocker.
Looks a little bigger too. Yeah.
He's bigger too. Yeah. I would say Ferguson, Stevens, Schoonmaker, that's kind of where it's at. Fant, if you didn't have Hunter Lipke, you'd probably have Fant in the mix here somehow, some way. But you have Hunter Lipke
because because Fant's like a fullback tight end type character.
H, like an H.
Jermaine Olawale.
Yeah. Olawale. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a name for you. Yeah, man. It's just I'm trying to find a way to keep my back. So I'm looking at the tight end room, and like we've been talking about, these tight ends haven't real. Jake's the only one that's run away with it. You know what I mean? The rest of these guys are just kind of up there. So Spann-Ford, you can only, I guess, hold somebody's hand so long, right? Because we are roster building. And if you're gonna be on the team, we need you.
We need your spot. Yeah,
we need you. So I would say that a great game 3 would greatly benefit him. So you know what I'm saying. So let's just hope
it would make me and they last cared what I thought in 2005. That's the last time they cared about what I thought.
I care what you think, bro. I care.
I appreciate that too. You might go light at offensive line. You might, instead of usually carry 10. Usually.
Let's do this.
I'm with you, but I'm.
Got my R lads up here, right? Tyler, I wish they'd just take Brock off of it. It's so cool. We got Tyler, BB, Zach Terrence is 5.
Yeah.
Chuma will be back in 4 weeks, so let's just say he's our 6th guy.
They might put Bobby and I just did Love of the Star. Bobby's hearing whispers that they might IR Chuma, and I haven't heard that from anybody yet.
Yeah.
But Bobby when he did roster building, Bobby thought that Chuma is going to go on IR.
If he's going to be,
but he has to be on your roster.
Yeah.
For you to put him on the injured reserve stuff to get him back. Yeah.
So let's say Chuma, because it's a 4-week foot injury and it's been 1 already. So he'll be back. He'll be back in week 3. So let's just say Chuma is your 6th guy. I really like Brock Hoffman. Brian, let me say this. Brian, let's just be real phony. When Brock Hoffman was your first center, I had a lot of mean things to say about. I threw a lot of dirt on Brock Hoffman, but now that it's firmly BB's position, I like Brock again.
Now you want to apologize for being mean to him. Now that you know he's the backup,
I won't dare apologize. But the world is right again. The world is right again. And if we're evaluating him as a backup, Brock Hoffman is a phenomenal player. He works hard, Bryan Broaddus. He tough. He gritty. He's a good leader, and he got initiative, Brian. Got that.
Get him, Mike Solari. Let me hear that Mike Solari speech you're about to give.
I ain't saying nothing like that, but boy, I love me some Brock. First one in here, last one gone, Brian. Brock Hoffman is my 6th man in this offensive line group.
Okay.
So he's 7. So that's him. So Brian, we're at 7 with Hoffman and Adoga. TJ Bass kind of been letting you down a little bit.
You know what, man? TJ Bass, we did mock game today. TJ Bass was playing some tackle.
Huh?
He was playing some tackle they moved him to tackle. They were playing him at tackle. He was playing guard. He was playing tackle. I talked to somebody in the front office yesterday morning, because I asked about Awesome Richards. I said, hey, you know what? Looks like you maybe kind of found something with Awesome Richards playing guard. And that guy goes, he's a better tackle. And I went, oh, okay. Well, I know damn good and well through some of my other sources, Awesome Richards wants nothing to do with playing tackle.
Yeah.
He wants to play guard. But this guy in the front office, and this is a high up the food chain guy. He's like, no, he's an even better tackle, and so I don't know.
So if he has all this potential and he's such a good tackle, why they got him at guard, Brian? Especially while Chuma's feet hurting. Like, why don't they have him?
Maybe I think they're leaving him at that guard position right now just to make sure, just to kind of keep getting him work. And as the season goes on, he's going to get more tackle work. That would be my guess. But this guy was adamant it wouldn't even, he didn't even flinch. When I asked him, he says, yeah, he's good guard, but he's even better tackle. I'm like, okay, I hear you, man. We're good. I'll mosey on down the street. Thanks. Appreciate you.
If you had to keep 2 tackles out of these 3, Awesome Richards, Chuma, Adoga, Matt Wild, let's go. If you had to pick 2 out of those 3, which one you keeping?
Man, Adoga, Richards.
Yeah. Okay. That's your 8 offensive linemen. You ain't got no more guards.
And we tried so damn hard to move on from Chuma Adoga.
Yeah.
We tried, but you know what? There were times the problem with Chuma Adoga is now he can't stay healthy. Man, we get to camp, he looks good, and then the minute he starts looking good, he gets back spasms, and he breaks his damn toe, or dislocates his toe, whatever he did. But
so if we keep 8 offensive linemen, you cutting TJ Bass then, Brian? That's what it looked like. If you want to go short,
no. I'm keeping 9.
You keeping 9? So 9 is short.
9 is low as I'll go, because I usually carry 10. Because during the year, I'm telling you, bro, I sit there in my office and I got my emergency board.
Yeah,
I don't have enough offensive linemen. I don't have enough. Now I look at the practice squads and stuff, but I'll tell you what, you go try and poach an offensive lineman off someone's team, they will immediately activate the guy. They're like, well, wait a minute now here. Wait a minute, Voch. We'd like to put you on. Would you like to, you want to go to Dallas? You want to stay here and be on the active roster? They will immediately, they will F you in a heartbeat when they find out you're trying to steal one of their still one of their offensive linemen. Or on my emergency board, I can never find enough defensive linemen, and I can never find enough offensive linemen.
Sure.
Skill guys, shake a tree.
Yeah.
Shake a tree, you know?
Yeah.
But those offensive and defensive linemen, especially ones that are ready to play, hard to do. But I'm going to, if I have to go, man, I would hate to go 10 offensive, or I'd hate to go 9 offensive linemen, because I got to carry extra backs because I don't know that my lead back can make it through the year. That sucks.
Bryan, I tell you what, man, I don't know when, Crown is going to get up and going.
Yeah.
I don't know, when it's going to officially, but I tell you what, man, I know Voch and Bryan can cut some microphones on with no topics and figure it out for 40 minutes, Bryan. I am proud of that.
Well, you know what? They call it chemistry.
Yeah.
And they call it passion and stupidity, all the things above, man, because you and I, we could turn the mics on and talk about roster building. That's something I think people enjoy, but it's been a pleasure again to be with you. We got a couple more days out here, and then I get to head home on Wednesday. Cool. So so I bet tomorrow might be my last day with you until I get back home.
All good, boss man. And then once we're here,
but once we're here, we're here.
We're here. We're here. We'll do it for real.
We're here. For real.
Hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate to the benefactor. Appreciate the parents that's watching. Appreciate the audience that's tuned in to us. Thank you all. We love to do this. All right. Y'all can follow me at Voch Lombardi, because I'm actually talking on Twitter now. So follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBRDI. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that button, because we're trying to get to 100 by the end of the season. Now,
where's the subscribe button? Where do I hit the subscribe button?
It's like down there somewhere.
Down there?
It's like down there. But then there's Bryan Broaddus, who's really gonna answer your questions early in the morning. So y'all be sure to tap into him. All right, and y'all hold it down until next time. We love y'all to pieces. Crown.